Oh man, I'm so impressed. I'm so impressed, and it oh
Delight.
oh man, me. So let me tell you something about true joy, right? No, because joy is so important. Like a lot of times we talk and like like we've been living life straight up like on this weird kind of almost like a convenient level of experience. Like it's really just been convenient. And I've always said convenience is the killer of quality, right?
Mhm.
So a lot of the things we've been doing has been rooted in convenience. You know what I'm saying? That's the trick, right? And sometimes we forget what life is really about, especially us in LA, because the weather don't change. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of things that will confuse you about life, especially in LA. One of the things is the weather, but happiness is so cheap that everybody pursues it. And it's cheap. Like happiness is cheap. Like happiness is so fucking cheap. And you got a world of people pursuing something that cheap. It's
Even
like a
porn
world
is
of
free.
people, huh?
I said even porn is free.
Right? And it's like they're pursuing happiness, and happiness is dirt cheap. Cheap. But joy is priceless. And every time I play Dot's new record, Kendrick's new record, right? GNX, the sheer joy that overcomes me, right? Now, again, I get it. Some people, shout out to the people that follow me on Twitter that's checking out this stream. Shout out to everybody on YouTube checking out this stream. Shout out to everybody on Facebook checking out this stream, right? Y'all don't know our relationship, me and Kendrick. This is really somebody I watched grow up. For the most, I just watched him grow up, at least from a teenager to a 37-year-old man with children. And I watched him develop as an artist. Um, and then to watch him succeed, right? Succeed past places that I've succeeded at this point, which, I'm coming to get all mines back in 2025. But, there is a joy that happens watching it, right? Because this is somebody you have a vested interest in and succeeding. But man, watching somebody start to own mastery, what I mean, own the culture, own the craft, and then put it together, and then they come into a space to where the content like reflects it is just different. And listening to Whacked Out Murals, the first song on GNX, it like it destroys me every time. Like I almost can't even get through the album anymore, as great as the album is, because this one song really has allowed me to see my young homie is a man now. right? And he's speaking like my spirit. There is no more compromise about his existence and what everybody else thinks. And I can hear it. And that shit just brings joy to my heart. I know it sounds crazy that because it's another man. Yeah, he my partner. Yeah, it ain't about profiting and benefit, but the joy of ownership of you. When you finally start to enjoy and trust who you are. I mean, faults to successes to everything, and you shake all of that, you shake all of that fear, right? You shake all of that fear that kind of suppresses us, you know what I mean, from being our greatest self, and you start to study you at your great, like all the things that make you great. So then you find the knowledge to truly extend all of those points, you know what I mean? And you become the greatest version of you. That's where you get the greatest version of art. And the joy I have for Kendrick, right? And the joy I have for Dot right now to be in this space. No lie, bro. It ain't about me like my path is laid. Like I'm finna walk the dog because I put in the time and the work. Like y'all gotta understand, I stopped the business of hip hop roughly for 14 years, where I didn't even worry about making money. From 2011 to 2023, I did not worry about making money. I was only focused on learning what records were, learning what hip hop was, and learning what marketing was about. So everything I even did was more just test, like in school, because I was learning, right? So my path is laid. Like I'm going to succeed at next year will be my biggest year easily because I did the work. And somehow God has blessed me with a level of social relevance and truly this cultural cachet that I got banked. So that's why hip hop is always, you know, in the wheelhouse for me. I could wake up today and I'm on TMZ. You know, Charlemagne is talking to me because maybe something I said seemed like this really crazy take versus just the mathematics of it. You know what I mean? I'm not even looking at it like, you know, I'm not chasing anything. Like this is just even a song like Tupac Die. You know what I mean? I'm not chasing anything. Like I didn't make it thinking to myself, oh, well, Tupac, you know, if I use his name, it's going to be a big song versus me really feeling empowered by this thing that some brothers from New York created and was like, okay, well, if my job is to truly be a voice of this street urban culture and to defend and give people an explanation, let me do it at the highest level. That's the only thing driving me. And when you are doing this thing that we call hip hop correctly, that becomes the driving force, representing. So when I listen to Kendrick, right, and it's funny because I hit him yesterday. I texted him. I said, "Hey, this might be the greatest intro. This might be the best intro I ever heard." Right, and it's like it sounds crazy, right? Because I heard Dreams and Nightmare, right? I heard Dreams and Nightmare. I heard Rage getting off. But when I listen, how it speaks to me and for me is incredible. And I just hit him and I'm like, I'm just being honest. I'm like, yo, this might be the best thing I've heard as far as an intro outside of the record. And again, I critique Dot's music just like any other fan. I don't critique him as a person, but I critique him as a human, right? I mean, as his art, right? So if I could be hypercritical, the time to me that he gets it right, I should over celebrate it. And it's not even on purpose. It just brings a joy that I know you guys are getting the greatest version of him. You are getting the greatest version of Kendrick Lamar right now. This is the greatest version. So minus the numbers, you know, if you ignorant enough to not think, you know, damn near 500,000 records is not successful, just keep watching because all of this shit is going to keep blossoming. It's so many songs on this album that's going to be the biggest songs in the world because he owns where he's at with the craft and the culture. He understands, like, and this is important because I remember getting here. Like, when you start to master the culture and the craft at the same time, and you gotta, hip hop requires a lot of like audacity. You know what I mean? You need to bank your audacity. Your audacity need to be banked up because you're gonna have to say some shit that the world may not quite be ready to hear. They may not quite be ready to hear. You know what I'm saying? So you have to bank audacity, right? And then you know what you gotta get rid of? You know what stock you gotta get rid of, Trap? You know what stock you gotta get rid of, Pete? You gotta get rid of the fuck stock, right? You shouldn't even have a fuck to give. Like, that's what I don't like about modern people trying to make hip hop. You give a
Same is true in comedy. I haven't laughed in 5 years.
Like, how are you making hip hop, but you give a fuck?
Yeah. Yeah, it's
How
definitely
are you making hip hop definitely, it gotta be representative of the said community. The one thing you should not be generous with is fucks.
So hip hop always been the rebellious genre, you know what I'm saying, that did things that was out of the norm and did things different and all that shit. And we ain't give a fuck. So it's always been like that though. And yeah, I agree with them that though. But I'm tired of you with this. This is the greatest album ever created in hip hop history. Shit though. You might as well say it. You might as well.
That is not what I said. See, you're going too far. And you know what? The it's not the hatred, but it's the uncomfortableness of the Sonics that is not allowing you to truly enjoy what's happening with this record. It's all, like I said, I've been saying on this stream, it's almost weird. And again, this is No Ceilings Live, the lunch hour, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at noon Pacific Standard Time. Right here, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, noon Pacific Time. Right? Click the thumbs up button. Click the thumbs up button. Let everybody know you here. You know what I mean? Click that thumbs up button real quick. Let everybody know you here. Check in them comments. Shout out to Neek, Cujo, AJ, my niece. What up, DJ? I love you. Super Jedi, Bone Slave, V, everybody in the house allowing me to go on this rant that I need to go on because it's so crazy. And make sure you click the link to the No Ceilings podcast. That's the reason why we do the lunch hour, to support the No Ceilings podcast. It's right there, Apple Podcasts or iHeart Podcasts or anywhere you get your podcasts. Feel me? No Ceilings podcast, executive produced by Charlemagne the God, the Black Effect Network, and iHeart. So again, when people, like, I'm telling you, this album, it's not about, is it the greatest? That don't even make sense. That's not what this is about. But what I'm saying to you, again, this is by far his best album.
All right, so let me ask you this, right? So you said the other day, you said that Good Kid, Mad City isn't top, I don't know what you said, 10 or 7.
It's top 10
debut
West
albums.
Coast debuts. Top 10
right.
West Coast debuts. It's
So
not top
where would you
10 West Coast debuts?
Yeah,
debuts.
It's not top 5, it's top 10.
Top
West
10.
Coast debuts.
Okay. So where you think when this is all said and done, you're gonna rank this album up? Is it gonna be ranked up there in the top 10 of West Coast albums of all time?
Probably so. This, hey, I'm telling you, Trap. I don't have a biased ear for Dot. Like, I have a biased person. That's my man. I'd gun you down for this dude. He's my man. You feel me? He's my guy. You know what I mean? I love this nigga. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this is my guy. Him, the person. He don't need my help or me lying for him with no fucking music. All of y'all like the music. He don't need me to lie with the music. You know me? And he know me well enough to know I'm gonna be honest when I talk about music. This is I've put in the work to understand what I'm listening to. So he he know I'm gonna be critiqued when I need to. He know I'm gonna be honest. That's just who I am, right?
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
No.
What was your suggestion after you heard Mr. Morale?
I didn't have a suggestion.
What would your suggestion for his next approach?
I didn't have.
I know what it was. I know what it was. I'm gonna see if you.
But I didn't. But that's not fair because I didn't have a suggestion, right? I had the same critique, right? I'm like, yeah, this feels a little therapy-ish. You know what I mean? It sounds like cat scratching paper to me, right? It's like, and you know what it is to me now that I think about it over the time. He just didn't own who he was. You know what I'm saying? And that's the tricky part. He didn't own who he was, right? And I think he was still. I mean, he reminded me of this today. Like he's really young. Like don't get me wrong, he's 37 now, but they 37 might be 33. You know what I'm saying? So like him growing up, and him figuring it out. I mean, he is carrying a lot to his credit, bro. He doing a lot because he made it past where a lot of us was trying to go, and he is in a really unique position, really to some degree on his own. You know what I mean? Like culturally, as far as representing the West. You know what I mean? It's somebody like Tyler is like he able to kind of shed the culture and just make pop music. Dot is still expected to hold it down for the movement. Tyler, we ain't tripping. You know what I mean? We just take music from Tyler, and Tyler could be a creative person, blah, blah, blah. And that's not fair because I don't listen to enough Tyler to even know if he's still holding it down culturally.
No, I do. He do.
But what I will say is after Mr. Morale, I think he understood that probably wasn't the way to go. Now, again, it's art, so it is the way to go. He can make any record. Right. And that's fine. That's an art piece. And people gonna love that. Like Marvin Gaye's Hear My Dear. It's not one of the most revered Marvin Gaye albums, but people who love Marvin Gaye, like John, right? He loves Hear My Dear. John loves Mr. Morale. Hardcore Kendrick fanatics swear by Mr. Morale because to me, that is the person that they love. What they feel is the
vulnerable person.
The vulnerability of it all, which all music to me is vulnerable. Even a Snoop Dogg, where it comes across shallow, you can hear the vulnerability. But again, it's not as simple for if you're not complaining about your problems, everybody don't think you're vulnerable. They're not like they're not seeing through the equation enough to, they're not seeing through what's happening to know that there's still vulnerability in all music.
It's funny, like you mentioned the Snoop reference. It's like by a mile, Snoop's most vulnerable song. To a lot of ears, I mean, like novice ears probably would think that his least vulnerable song is "Murder Was the Case." That's his most vulnerable song.
Yeah, I agree.
That's a fact.
So when you said after Mr. Morale, you was asking me what I thought or what advice. I wouldn't have gave him no advice. I would tell him where are the jams, because that's the thing I would say to any artist. Where are the jams? But again, I didn't get a chance to say that. You know what I mean? Like once it became counter, like against street urban culture, I'm log off. You start talking shit about the streets, without nuance. Like I'm not even gonna, entertain the music no more. Shout out to La Russell. Like La Russell be talking shit about OGs and if they the big homies, why they with the little homie? I'm logging off. All that punk ass shit. I'm not with none of that. First off, you must not be street if you think that's how it go. That is not how it go. And so when people start speaking on the streets and it's an ignorant perspective, I could tell that person ain't street because the shit they saying, I will log off from the music. Now, that don't mean I log off from you, but I'm not fucking with this dumbass shit you talking about. So if your critique is going to be on the streets, you better know what the fuck you talking about. If you one of them people that was in the house and you looked outside and you hear a tone like big homies and they be with little homies and all this old dumbass shit, yeah, I will log off from your shit and I'm gonna tell you bullshit. Shut the fuck up. Stop talking about some shit you don't know.
Can you do a video? There has to be some song on 110 or something that applies to this concept. You remember those old Big Brother program commercials from like the 90s? Can you do a gangster one with an OG and a that looks just like the Big Brother program commercial from the 90s?
I don't like this modern rap shit that declare war on the streets. Like that's what's going on the internet. Like all the fucking goofballs are declaring wars on the streets. And I see it happening. And it's like, you ungrateful ass people. Where would you be without this?
But at the same time, though, don't you feel like murder, death, kill rap should be to kind of slow down a little bit? I've
never heard murder, death, kill rap.
Yes, you have. Yes, you
have. Never in my
life. Yes, you have.
Who the hell?
What would you call? What's that Chicago shit?
Drill is not. That's a soldier story.
Kill.
No, it's not. That's just a lazy, older perspective where you don't care about the nuance of somebody's experience.
You're old and you're lazy. You're shiftless, no good, old, lazy New York bastard.
Like, no, when I listen to drill, you know what I hear from drill, right? I hear a soldier story, a kid on drugs trying to cope with this war and this war they're in the middle of. I don't hear it and be like, oh, I want to kill this person because I want them to die. That's so intellectually lazy. Like, you don't even care to listen to these kids struggle. You don't even care to like, I hear the struggle. I don't hear, oh, I want to kill people because I want to kill people and I want people to die. That's crazy that is what your ears reduce down to when you hear them little dudes talking about the stuff they got going on. You're missing the cries for help. This is why hip hop is here. Like when I first heard as a little kid, when I first heard the message, I didn't be like, oh, niggas crying about being broke. The hell you talking? I didn't hear that. I could have imagine that same ignorant mind we talk about thinking when the message came out. That's like white people. They was like, well, I don't want to hear about people talking about their poor lifestyle. Get some money, tighten up your bootstraps, go make some money. You don't have to be in a project. That's how y'all sound when y'all talk about drill. It's so ridiculous that you are not honoring the cultural struggle that these kids is going through. That's crazy.
All right. So it's not really crazy when that's all that's being said, though. All that's being said is sliding on your ops. I'm gonna blow your head off. This, that, this. I'm gonna kill your mama. Fuck you, dead peoples. This, that, this. That shit is low vibrational, B. When we was being said the shit that was being said to us, though, at least like the message, I wouldn't say the message was low vibrational, even with them even talking about poverty, though, and shit like that. It was about talking about the uplifting of it. You know what I'm saying? This is where we come from, but we're gonna end up here, though. They're saying this is where we come from.
The message doesn't talking about.
And I'm gonna send you to your grave, though. So you're gonna start here and end up there, though. You know what I'm saying? Like that.
Because they're at war with people.
I mean, sure. I think that the truth kind of lies somewhere in between. I remember the interview, not the interview of all time, but like I think it was on a track. Like Pimp C's talking about, we're not getting any social commentary anymore.
Yeah.
And that was in a different context. I was talking about kind of like trap music and everyone just talking about how much dope they sold, how much money they got. But this is sort of like everyone talking about how much artillery they got, how many bodies they lay down. And it's really a little bit concentrated just in saying this is our priority. And I understand in the context of what's happening in your daily life, that is your priority. I get that.
I mean, surviving.
Yeah, I get it. I understand both sides. Like on the one side, it's like, okay,
I don't understand. I don't understand. I don't understand. You know why I don't understand the other side? Because you're not surviving. So you don't know what you would be talking about if you were just surviving. That's why I don't understand. That's like, imagine like a person who's been a war veteran for this country for 20 years, and they talking about their experience in life of 20 years. You're like, no, I don't want to hear about you fighting to secure the freedoms of the country. What the hell are y'all talking about? And they little kids. Like, instead of us, oh, it's murder, death, kill rap. These dudes are 17 years old. They've been in a million shootouts and wars, and all people here is like, why these 17-year-olds talking about shooting and killing and being high to deal with the problem? What are you talking about? Hell yeah, they talking about that. Because that's what their life is at 17. What the hell are they supposed to have the mindset of a 50-year-old man? So no, I don't hear that. And I really hate that people that come from the struggle grow up, get some money, and then start talking shit about how people dealing with the struggle. Imagine if somebody came to hip hop and was like, well, you know what, you guys need to speak proper English, American English. You know, nobody wants to hear the way you guys miss. What the fuck? Yes, Pete.
In your best assumption, the writers, the rappers of drill, do you think that they're just like, what do you think they're do you think they're tending to, like, is it a, no, I don't want to use the
their
phrase.
message. Their message
I don't want
message
to use
is
the
murder,
phrase
death,
cry
kill.
for help.
Their message
You know what I'm saying?
is,
But
you fuck with me, I'm gonna kill you. That's what their message is.
Because everybody's message when you 17, 18 years old is, if you fuck with me, I'm going to kill you where we come from. But the key is, the reason it's not murder, death, kill, because it's not saying, hey, I'm just going to kill. They saying, if you come fucking with me, I'm going to hurt you. But again, that's the, so when you, so Pete, to answer your question, when you saying, what do I think Chief Keef thinking is, when hip hop first came to me, and I could be honest, right? And I'm not a drill rapper, but when it first came to me, it was therapeutic. Like, it was a way to express what my current state of life had just been like. This super traumatic experience, right, of existing, right? And this microphone became the therapist that I talked to. It probably kept me from not losing my mind, you know, being able to express how I saw it. Now, yeah. Glasses Malone was a lot older than when Chief Keef became a superstar. But my career started, Chief Keef was 17, like 17 or 16, 17. And he was a superstar.
Yeah. I was 19, I got you.
Because this is somebody who had been surviving this war that none of us knew that was going on in Chicago, like a real serious war where people under 18, you know, that came from these communities were dying at alarming rates, right? Because of conflicts and things of that nature. So again, no, I don't think hip hop should be about uplifting everything. No, some of the messages aren't going to be about that. That's just not realistic. Some people don't even believe their existence has a possibility to uplift.
I'm not sure he's suggesting it should be uplifting, like positive and optimistic. I think more so in the sense that, like, more solution oriented than just problem descriptive. Is that fair?
What I mean,
if people in people in culture in general could solve problems, we would never need culture. We would just assimilate into mainstream America, suburban lifestyle if we could solve the problems. So hip hop gave it a voice. It gave the culture, right, this existence of voice. And every voice is not going to be, this is how we solve the problems. The message didn't tell you how to solve a problem. It was them complaining the whole time about how they were existing. Just because you found some artistic merit to how the flows went, it was them complaining the whole, do not push me. I am close to the edge. I am trying not to lose my head. It's like a jungle. Sometimes that make me wonder how I keep from going under. So you can't tell me that this was like, well, you know, if you work really hard, you're going to get you a job. You're going to move somewhere. You're going to pay to rob. And that's not what was happening.
No. Know what that was? That was like, it was like, change gonna come type shit.
It is definitely not change gonna come. That's not in that song.
What you mean?
That's not, you're lying. You know that's not in that song.
Is there a progression? I can't think of like the latter parts of the song. Is there a progression through the verses where it's like, here's the situation now, hold tight, and
it was the commentary of what was going on in the hood.
So then why are you mad at drill rappers where it's 130 people getting shot over one weekend and they're telling you what's happening?
Well, maybe I might not be mad at the drill rappers. I might be mad at the what the industry for making it seem like that's all we have. You know what I'm saying? That comes out of Chicago, or whether that comes out of Brooklyn or something. You know what I'm saying? That's all we have is this vibration of hip hop music. You know what I'm saying? So it might not necessarily be the people that's doing the music. It might more so be the business of it, and that's all we being shown as. That's it, right?
Broken glass everywhere. People pissing on the stairs. You know, they just don't care. I can't take the smell. I can't take the noise. Got no money to move out, so I guess I got no choice. Rats in the front room, roaches in the back, junkies in the alley with a baseball bat. I tried to get away, but I couldn't get far because a man with a tow truck repossessed my car. So them complaining the whole time, the whole song, don't push me because I'm close to the edge. I'm trying not to lose my head.
Yo, you know what's so fucked up is? You know how fucked up Diddy is, right? Diddy took that song and talked about, mates, can you please stop smoking la la? What the fuck? What was
you should like that? You should like the higher vibrations of people talking about money and nothingness and how great their life is. You should love it. Because Lord knows you can't like the message complaining about life as it existing, or they're detailing this life that's happening. Oh Lord, it's so sad. You know, they're talking. That's how white people say. And it's funny because, right, people that come from the culture, right, that come from the experience, soon as they get some money, them niggas y'all be like, man, them people talking about killing each other. What the hell?
Killing each other, goddamn.
Every damn song, murder, death, kill. There ain't no fucking murder, death, kill rap.
Murder,
these
death,
dudes
kill.
these little kids are trying to survive a war, and instead of people figuring out how to help because now they're aware, it's like, well, I don't want it. You know what it is? You know what it is?
What is it?
Fucking funny.
What is it?
Oh.
Let me hear it.
Oh man, I'm not even gonna say it.
My expense. Just
say it. Say
right
it. Say it. What is it?
Cut it loose. There's one left in there. I know it's aimed
cool.
right for me. No, don't do that shit. Do not leave the audience. Don't blue ball this audience. I don't crip or not. Do not blue ball this fucking audience.
Do it. Do it. Come on, Cletus.
No, I'm not in it.
Do not.
What I'm saying is this. What I'm saying is, again, hip hop is all about the culture expression, current circumstances. I can see if we were mad.
I know that's not what you were going to say.
Listen, it's not. But I can see
don't
if
let
we're
this
upset.
Audience walk out in the hallway with the heart on. You fucking you give this audience what it wants.
Look, I can see if like it's a rapper in Beverly Hills talking about drill shit, then I'd be all in being upset. Like, but how are you mad? Because again, like there's a group of people sick. And instead of the world deciding how do we help cure these people, everybody like, y'all need to cover y'all mouth, put a mask on. Just nobody else catch it. You don't want to get in there and deal with the problem. You're just complaining that they're notifying you of the problem, giving you their position on the problem, right? They're notifying, drill notifies you of this war. They're giving you their position on how they think they're going to live in this world by surviving. And we're upset. We're like, don't sneeze. Don't nobody else need to get sick. Other people might see this and start emulating it. Like, what the fuck, man?
I think it's maybe it just comes with kind of the inherent strain of the genre, and that there is a built-in like alpha braggadocio kind of nature to being an MC. It's been like that since forever. You know what I mean? So the line kind of gets blurred between that and the like jubilation with success having been achieved, and then also talking about that type of material all at the same time, where it seems like you're now not like the audience can't separate the difference between like celebrating yourself and your accomplishments versus celebrating the circumstances where it started from. It looks like you're celebrating all of it. And I think that that's maybe some of the blurred vision from the recipient side, because everything seems sort of celebratory to some degree, even in that context.
But culture doesn't exist without celebrating circumstance, right? Because there wouldn't be a pride that would go with the things we're talking about. So it has to have a celebratory nature. The thought of surviving a war, it has to be spoken of in a celebratory nature.
Yeah, they did parades when they came back from D-Day. I get that. I get it.
So
I'm just saying, I feel like that's the root of where a lot of the criticism might.
I genuinely think the critique comes from people choosing to be ignorant and ridiculous. And it's not on purpose. Like, obviously, when somebody of Styles P stature says something, right, it has to be really respected because Styles P is one of those guys.
He was my favorite of the Lux.
It's Styles. It's one of the most incredible voices. But again, I think he's also matured to a place to where he forgot exactly what it's like to be poor. Now, he does remember what it's like being poor, but he doesn't remember what it's like to be poor in Chicago, where everybody is trying to blow your head off because you from over here.
Did he was it who was the speaker who remembered what it was like to be poor when they were complaining about not having the masters that they were given money for?
Imagine that. You know what?
That's my favorite thing. I'll never stop going back to that
don't
thing.
Give that any credence.
It's my favorite thing.
But let me get back to the point. Let me get back to the point. Again, this is No Ceilings Live, the lunch hour. Click the thumbs up button. Let everybody know you here right now, right there in that little corner. You feel me? Right here on Digital Soulbox, No Ceilings Live, the lunch hour, every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at noon Pacific Standard Time. He in training for something. Go on the link, click the No Ceilings podcast link. Subscribe to that podcast on Apple Podcasts, iHeart Podcasts, or anywhere you get your podcasts. No Ceilings Podcast, executive produced by Charlemagne the God, Black Effect, and iHeart Network. Which brings us to the topic of the lunch hour. Does hip hop owe Glasses Malone an apology? Right? Because when I first said Drake's not hip hop, like that was a conversation me and Charlemagne had in private. And I was telling him when I was learning hip hop, everybody used to talk shit because they felt like, even in ADHD, shout out to my brother Trap Bradshaw right here, founder of the political hip hop movement, ADHD. It's on Clubhouse. Go get involved. Some great hip hop conversations. Go get involved. People made fun of me because I told them I didn't really get hip hop until 2018-19. Oh, that was jokes. Oh, funny. Ha, ha, ha. Joke. Just because I'm from the ghetto, I don't feel like, I'm from the culture. I don't feel like I inherently have this or I understand this. Just like being from 7th Street, I don't inherently think that I understand Crippin' because I'm from a gang. I don't care how much I live my life in it. I didn't feel like I understood it until I went to study it. That's when I finally was like, okay, I'm comfortable in saying I get what's happening. But before that, I wasn't comfortable. You feel me? I wasn't comfortable saying, I didn't feel like I was a hip hop artist trapped from 2007 to 2018. I didn't even know what hip hop was. People make hip hop like it's a bunch of songs or people dancing in New York or some weird stuff. Again, I didn't even think the streets had a place in hip hop because the way people would be hypercritical of the most street elements.
Yeah. Taking that point a little bit further, like, being a Crip, or being from 7th Street, I understand the Crippin', right? Some of that's size, scope, and scale. Being a Crip from 7 and being from West Boulevards might be a significantly different experience to a degree. Similarly, hip hop might be different people, different regions. Is there a parallel there or no?
No, because Crippin' is Crippin'. Like hip hop is hip hop. Now, where it's planted on the earth, it can grow a little different, but it's still very much only going to grow in certain soils. It's going to be hard to have a Beverly Hills Crip.
Sure.
Hard to have a Beverly Hills Crip.
LA hip hop.
I don't know if Crippin' and Beverly Hills would quite grow the way Crippin' would need to grow if you planted that seed of Crippin' in Beverly Hills. Well, the same for hip hop. You can't plant that seed in Beverly Hills.
Yeah, but
you might get an extended, thing that kind of bleeds over, like let's say like an Allen, like Alchemist. You know what I mean? You may get something that bleeds over, and a guy out of there can give you something, but you couldn't grow a culture in these places. And that's the thing that I love about it. So I took my time to understand, bro, what it was. Like, I took my time to understand what it was. And then when I finally felt compelled enough that I had trapped a basic understanding, not even a superior understanding of hip hop, a basic understanding, I was able to make some analysis. I was able to say, okay, if this is true, I'm talking to Charlemagne off the air. He was like, gee, man, what you on with this hip hop thing, man? You've been studying this, da, da, da. I said, yeah, it changed my life. It saved my life. I'd be in prison or dead or rich off dope. One way or another, it'd be some crazy shit going on without hip hop. So I told him off air. But me and Charlemagne, we have a relationship to where I'm like, I don't say nothing trap to you, Charlemagne or Pete, off air that I can't say on air. I've conditioned myself as a man to be accountable for the things that I feel and say. So I'm going to say the same things offline that I say online. So when he asked me that in the interview, he said, man, G, so you think Drake's not hip hop? No, he's not. He doesn't have any level of street urban culture. It wasn't about, is he not a talented rapper? It was never about if, he not dope, if he a bad person. It was just about what hip hop was. That conversation spun out of control. It became a thing that people said I was jealous of him because the first thing I heard was like, oh, he signed to Cash Money and he blew up and Glass didn't. He was way better than me at that time he was way better than me at that time I didn't even know shit about rapping. I was way too busy being the culture. I didn't know nothing about rapping. I mean, nothing about records. All I knew was how I had a dope sense of rhythm and I was articulate. I had no idea. So I've never felt threatened by Drake's success. That nigga was fantastic, Trap. He was so well schooled and studied. Kendrick was fantastic from the first day. He knew more about this shit than I ever knew at that time. So it was never personal, but yet the conversation was sway to personal. And then no matter where I have the conversation, if it's bootleg Kev, is everybody like, man, Glass, you're just hating. Glass, you're just saying this. And I'm like, I kept telling him, I said, he's going to keep doing things that's going to make it obvious. His career is different when you have some of the greatest minds in the history of hip hop. It's different when you have, let's say, Birdman, Slim, Lil Wayne, Cortez, Jazz, Jay Prince. These are some of the greatest minds in the history of hip hop. All come from the dirt. From the dirt. And shout out to Josh Robertson. They still better than you, G. No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. While GNX is the shit, no, sir. Ain't no fucking body better than me. That day over. Niggas can't get nothing going with me. That day over. That day of niggas being better than me, that Drake not better than me. That nigga last record ain't better than mine. That's not even a thought. I don't even think twice. I'm way better because I understand my power. I'm better than everybody. It's y'all crazy ass that don't see it yet, but you're going to see it next year. I'm better than everybody by far, but it ain't going to last long, so it don't matter. You only going to get this much terror from me. That's the best thing. God made sure y'all only going to get this much of it, because Lord knows if y'all had to get 8 years of what the shit I be on, you niggas would probably be committing suicide. You couldn't take this much culture, Josh. It's way too much culture, Josh, with the shit I be on. I ask my homies that know me, they'll tell you in real life I'm this way. Ask Kendrick, just tweet him. Everybody know I'm really like that in real life. Not like that like the rappers be saying, but really like that for real. I believe in culture. I really carry myself this way.
Facts.
So it's like, no, nobody's better because I went in school and educated myself. That's why. So it's not like, oh, I think I'm better because, no, I went and did the work. That's it. So I understand what I'm looking at. So this conversation goes crazy. Now you don't have those great minds from the street dictating your career. Yes, Bear's my brother. I love him. You don't have these really great street minds dictating his career. You're seeing somebody run their own career. So The thing that makes Drake fantastic, I've said this as an artist, is he wears his emotions on his sleeve. He wears them right on his sleeve. That's why he's incredible. But the problem is you can't bring that mind to business, Pete, and you know better than everybody else. You cannot do business emotionally.
Yeah, this is kind of turned into, interestingly enough, like the classic eternal, like brain hemisphere conversation. You know, it really is, and you're right. It's the artistic, the vulnerability that makes the art, and the other part is it can't be that.
And his team got mad at me, I'm sure, because they're trying to convince you and sell you that he is the culture.
Yeah.
So that's why because I didn't understand. I still really struggle to understand why would someone get mad at me for saying something that's an obvious truth. Shout out to Lloyd Davis.
Likes an obvious truth at their own expense.
Hold up. Shout out to Lloyd Davis. Shout out to Fat. Shout out to Squishy. Shout out to Monique. Shout out to Ron, man. Thank you for being here, brother. Shout out to my boy Rob, who mod in the chat. Thank you, Rob. We was gonna ask you to be a mod. Shout out to the homie Royalty. What's happening? We up in this thing cooking No Ceilings Live, the lunch hour, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at noon Pacific Standard Time, right here on Digital Soulbot. Clicks the thumbs up button.
I think some of this is like this. There was a period of time, it seems, maybe it was the exception, maybe it was the rule. Don't know. Don't care enough to think about it any longer in this sense. Guys started listening to what their girlfriends are saying recently. And now we have every 2 seconds, when anybody has anything to say about anything, you're just jealous. You're just a hater. You're just insecure. And it's just fucking, my God.
Yeah.
Oh, sweetheart, you shouldn't wear that outfit. They're just jealous of me. That's all this is.
Well, anyway, so, for sure, it definitely has a liberal feel. I always say liberal is white women and conservative is white men.
Yes. Yes.
That's the argument inside the house. So, but fast forward, right? So all of this stuff is happening, right? And it's like, okay, so, it sounded crazy to people, right? And it's not personal. Like, and I know his team was mad. They still mad, probably, right? Because now it's worse. Because Dot is my boy, and I'm standing with my boy in the middle of a battle. I don't care who going against us. Yes, I'm not writing a song, but this is my man. So I'm standing with my boy straight up. You feel me? Like, I'm standing with Dot straight. It's my kid. Like, it's my guy. Like, nigga, we rocking.
As you should.
It don't mean I don't like nobody else, but it's us, period. It don't matter what else.
Can we get back to the apology, though?
Okay, let me. I got you. So again, this is all in the same conversation. So go ahead, Pete.
What? By the letter of the law, are you as a Crip allowed to testify in civil court?
Oh.
If you get roped into this lawsuit,
it's gonna be weird, and people gonna still call you a snitch.
A civil case, you a snitch in a civil case, you feel like?
Yeah, you're right.
You're gonna get brought into this as a party of defamation, and you're gonna end up having to testify to get out of this civil suit for defaming Drake.
Yo, the little rat meme that you've been putting up, though, be the little
classic. Shout out to them dudes who be making them. It's funny because the homie Arian Foster used to play professional football, really dope brother. Yeah. He be like, I knew you was gonna find this meme. I'm like, these memes find me, bro.
Yeah.
It'd be like, people send me the memes like Glasses share this meme. So it'd be funny.
Nice.
But so anyway, so fast forward, I'm standing with my man. So I get why even his team could feel some kind of way, because they're trying to convince the world, right, that they are the streets, which is crazy because this little dude was on, he was on Nickelodeon and like, he's a Jewish guy. He grew up in Canada. And so it's obvious, but because they feel like the world is convinced, they like, yeah, but no, we still selling it to people and people still buying it. So like now I'm impeding on the business. Long story short, so the conversation keeps happening. It keeps happening. We keep having it. We have it on ADHD. Everybody's furious. Gee, I can't believe, whatever. Okay, cool. here we are. Now you hear people over and over again. You see it yourself.
It's crazy.
You see there's a disillusion. He's disillusioned, and it's all with emotion. That's bro. What you don't sue the #1 record company, or you don't even make or file a petition. It's the #1 record company, the #1 distribution company for records that retails and distributes records, and the #1 company that promotes records. Nothing about that makes business sense. That's emotion.
All right. I said it before though, to the point where I think it could be emotion, but it could also be, you know what I'm saying, he done been behind that curtain before, and he know how this shit go. So within him being like that, he's on some shit like, yo, listen, I could take my loss, but at least I'm gonna let the world know how I took this loss though. And it wasn't just solely because of an artist though. It was a machine, a corporate giant behind him also though. You don't think it could be like that though too?
Isn't that
No,
a
because you know
self-indicting
why?
statement?
Yeah, he would sacrifice himself.
He has to sacrifice himself in order to.
No. He's still saying the problem is he's not taking the loss. That's the first thing you said. He would have to take the loss that way. He's not dealing with it. He's struggling. He's struggling. That's why I keep saying round 2 and round 3 and like all this silliness. Like you can't win this. This was not written in the stars for you, my boy. This is just not going to happen. And every move you're going to make emotionally behind it is going to put you in the worst position. So no, because if that was the case, you know why he knows what they do behind the curtains? Because they did it for him behind the curtains.
That's exactly.
So if that was the case, he'd be suing them over his own stuff. He'd be disclosing his own efforts.
Yeah, thus the self-indictment.
The self-indicting thing.
I know he's high on crack because I'm high as fuck on crack and I look just like him.
So yes, if his goal was truly to, hey, you know what, I'm gonna take them people down with me. He knows all the secrets, but you can't point at somebody else's marketing strategies because you don't know their secrets. They didn't show you that. You not in like that, my boy. UMG is a monster before you and after you. Boy, when you lay dead in the grass, UMG still going to be selling records. So you don't know what they doing on these people campaign. There's this confusion that Drake came in and he's UMG, the business. Bro, they've been making money. These record companies been making money off talented niggas since the beginning of talented niggas. And what are we talking about, bro? They're not showing you all these people marketing program. They're not showing you. They're not giving you no masters. They're not giving you no owner's fee. Boy, you a player. You on a court like LeBron James, and when you leave here, go to the next team. You ain't no owner in this team. See, the confusion is that his success is some unseen thing. Oh my God, it's never. Yes, it has. It's always a new nigga. It's always one. Everybody be, what's gonna happen after LeBron leave? It'll be a new LeBron. It'll be a new Michael. It's always a new Magic. You know how long they've been saying this? They gonna always find a new dude.
They said the other day, ADHD, that there could never be another Drake.
It'll never be another Magic or Michael Jordan or LeBron James or Kobe Bryant, but it's always somebody.
There'll be somebody better than him?
Sure. It's always somebody.
Far more Canadian than him.
Way more mainstream. Taylor Swift kicking the shit out of him every day.
So they could find another Jewish man that could say the N-word.
I'm sure they will.
They'll find a half Mormon, and it's going to be even less caffeinated than this.
Yeah.
Listen, you cannot emulate human beings. No, you can't replicate human beings. But trust me, this business is never going to struggle with finding another star. None of these businesses. Magic, listen, the league, they thought it was over. In the 80s, Magic Johnson and Larry Bird did more for the NBA than any other player in history. And then here comes Michael Jordan in the 90s. And then here comes Kobe Bryant and Tim Duncan in the 2000s. Oh, when it's over and Kobe leave, it's over. Then LeBron James and Steph Curry. Nobody even saw Steph Curry. Steph Curry has made so much money for the industry. It's scary. Listen, man, one thing these white people know how to do is market Negroes. I will give them their credit. White people know how to market Negroes. They know how to market some white people too. But for something, man, they be marketing Negroes crazy. Like people like Taylor Swift, they have to actually have some talent. Shout out to Taylor who could play the guitar. They play like all these instruments. You know what I mean? But they will market a person like Drake and people like, well, there'll never be another talent. He's not, it ain't that, bro. He's not Prince. That's a team of people. Shout out to 40. Shout out to everybody, the marketing team, Stunner, Bird, Wayne, Cortez, Jay Prince. You know, one of my favorites, Jay Prince, Jazz. These are some of the greatest minds in the history of the world when it comes to marketing this thing we call hip-hop, street culture, rap. You feel me? So the Drake thing is not one thing. Even the Prince thing is not one thing. You got to understand what Warner Brothers is able to do. These are not one people organizations. So trust me, they don't need another Drake. They'll have something else that does the same thing. This is what they fucking do.
The bottom line, it's a bad year for mixed light-skinned people who went to high school in Canada. They toppled Drake and Kamala within 6 weeks of one another. And it's just not their year.
And the boy that shot Meg. Tory Lane.
Who?
Tory Lane. Canada's taking some mess. So again, it's like, so does hip hop owe me an apology? No. I didn't predict anything, bro. Do I feel vindicated? No. I don't. I'm just being honest. Like, it's hilarious to me that y'all need somebody else to tell y'all I'm right. Like, yeah, if you follow me, you know me well enough to know I don't troll, and I genuinely probably did some homework on something I'm saying, and it's a perspective. So to me, it would make more sense for you to be like, gee, what are you talking about? Versus you just thinking I'm saying something crazy. You know I'm not smoking no weed. Y'all know, I don't know if y'all know this. I've never smoked weed in my life. I don't know if y'all know this. I've never drank alcohol in my life.
Loser.
All this stuff I'm saying, I'm sober.
Sober
y'all know this.
Sober loke.
Right? So I'm not saying something out of emotions. I'm not high. I'm not messed up. This is something I probably read. I've never smoked or drank a day in my life. I've never even tasted one time. I've never even tasted a cup of coffee a day in my life.
I've never tried weed in my life. I've drank plenty.
I never smoked.
I've never in my life smoked a joint. I've never smoked edibles, drank, smoked, nothing in my life. All this shit is just these gears turning, bro. So I don't know how we get to the space that make y'all believe that I'm just saying some shit. Like, nigga, I'm not high. I'm not these niggas. I'm not finna take no tweet down and be like, I was high or I was drunk. Never.
I did it. I've done it.
I'm not knocking nobody. That's not the point.
Send out a generic apology and check in rehab for 30 days? No?
Yeah, that's not the point. I'm not saying this. I'm not knocking nobody who drink and smoke. Look, this life tough. Get through it how you got to
knock people who drink and smoke.
I don't have nothing to say about it. Get through it how you got to get through it. I don't. Get through it how you got to get through it. Look,
people should be ashamed of themselves. I'm ashamed of myself. Maybe we have something in common.
No, we do got something in common.
Not you and me. Me and the drunks. Me and the drunks, not you.
Yeah, okay, yeah. But I'm saying I'm not knocking people, right? Outside of anybody that abuses anything, right? So all this stuff I be saying, so no, I don't feel vindicated. It's funny to me that y'all need somebody to tell y'all I was right. That's just funny. It's funny how people see, like, the more I understand about hip hop and all this cultural cachet trap, I stamp everybody. Who the fuck could have more cultural cachet than me in this thing that we call hip hop? Can't nobody have. Come on, man. I had it the hard way. I had to learn this shit by myself. I had to go through it by myself. I had to deal with it by myself.
The crazy thing is this though, right? That's why, like, when I heard the dunk the other day, I was happy he mentioned that, because that was when I was getting a bunch of calls like, yo, what's up with your man, B? Why you hate Drake so much? The Drake is the Madonna shit.
Yeah.
And I said, y'all don't understand what he's saying, bro. Like I had to stand there a couple times, like with my own brother. I put you on the phone with him. Like, yo, he's like, no, this, that. I'm like, yo, he's telling the truth, B, but you're gonna realize it though, B. And I'm glad people are realizing this shit though now. You know what I mean? It's really good though. I'm about to smoke.
There
You
you
know what
go.
I'm saying? Just for that, just
There
for
you go.
y'all too.
Shout out to Viola. Shout out to Viola, the future
Big
sponsor
Viola
of
vibes.
the live stream. If I ever do the one stream,
Big Viola vibes.
um,
But yeah, they realizing now though, man. They realizing now.
But it's funny because people kept comparing him to Michael Jackson. That's how that conversation even with Madonna. And I'm like, nah, he like Michael Jackson is different. He kind of comes from an R&B group that kind of went pop. Like Drake is Madonna because he started pop. He just has an understanding about culture that gives him a different access to it. Like Madonna. Madonna, like I always heard stories about Madonna running around New York, prime New York, like turned up New York. Hip hop blossom in New York. Madonna running around New York, hanging at all the spots, thugging and all of that. Madonna is like the real deal. So even when I was referencing Drake like Madonna, people took it as a diss. And I'm like, you just don't know who Madonna is. You don't know what Madonna was able to do with all of the different musics and how she was able to take whatever culture sounds happening and turn them into mainstream hits. That's why he's Madonna. If the West is popping and Mustard Sound popping, here comes the motto. Oh, New York get a little run. Young M.A. drops, Young M.A. drops, well, here comes Drake. Started from the bottom. Now we the South is popping. Oh, here we go with the Southern song. Chicago drill popping. Here we go with the song with Dirk where they spinning the block. Like that's Madonna. Madonna does the same thing. So I didn't understand. Again, it's one of them things where most of the time I don't understand what the fuck people be mad about. Rest assured, I'm looking at Tupac Must Die. There is something going to happen that's going to vindicate that idea. And people going to be like, well, you know what? That glasses idea wasn't that bad. And it's like, man, why y'all got to just play all this crazy shit? Like, y'all know damn well I'm not talking bad about Tupac or just like, bro, what the fuck? Stop talking to me like I'm one of these cornball ass niggas that be playing. I don't be playing. I'm serious. You don't never hear me say F Pac or nobody. So when you don't take my ideas or my thoughts serious, anything is more offensive because I mean this shit.
I mean, look, fans mythologize everybody. It's unbelievable. Not even to the point where you can't. It's not even like criticized. Just like it's almost like you ever some of those stories that had come out about shit that Kim Jong-un was saying to like the North Korean population to like that's prop himself up as a god, like how he went he like played a round of golf and shot an 18, and how he's perfectly efficient and doesn't shit, like stuff like that. It's these people are like that. Someone walk up and say, Kim Jong-un, I think he uses the restroom. Blasphemy.
You mean so?
I think Un shot a 19.
Shout out to the people in the chat, Elmatic, Monique, everybody killing the chat. Mop Whack TV. She was never some supreme talent. That's true. She wasn't the greatest vocalist. She's not the greatest musician, but it is a lot like Drake. You know what I'm saying? Where he's not really a great vocalist. As far as vocally, he'd probably be a C-. Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
Drake may be a C- vocally. Madonna's probably a D+ vocally.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
I can agree.
Yeah.
Dancer, Madonna is probably a C-, D+.
There's also a little bit of like a certain Oscar Robertson element to it. It's like, yeah, you didn't average 30, but you did excel in all fields simultaneously based off your diversity of skill set, so to speak. I think that's probably applicable to both parties.
Well, I think Drake is a superior rapper, right? I think he's probably as good as it get as an MC. He's really good as an MC, so that's probably where he has Madonna, because I'm not sure Madonna was a A- or B+ anything. And not the slider, because I think what she was able to do was her star power is different. She just it's something inside of her that just that works for her. She's able to make things work that shouldn't work. It's like magic. Sometimes it's just magic.
Well, that's her. That's her A+ skill. Like even in a pre-social media environment, she was able to tap in to the, hearts and minds, so to speak, of tens of millions of people blind, basically, without seeing that they're trending this idea at every waking moment of the day. You know what I mean? She really has an ability, and I'm not even a fan. I don't even like the bitch, but she can sure as shit sit back and look at the landscape of society and pop culture and go, there, like really well, like freakishly well, routinely for a lot of years. Like I said, like there's no accident, like there's not accidents like that. You know what I mean? Accidents happen once, not 9 times.
No, I definitely don't think Madonna's an accident, and whatever she is the best at it. And I feel like the same is for Drake. I think Drake is,
whatever he is,
wordsmith
he's the
to some
best
degree.
at it.
Whatever it is
not
special.
hip hop.
But I can't identify it's in rap. And so again, as far as people owe me an apology or me finna vindicated, y'all can never vindicate me. Y'all forgive me. It's not gonna work that way. I'm confident in the things that I'm saying because I did the homework. Shout out to my OG Daryl Pierce, one of the best production teams in history. You know what I mean? Glasses did his homework. Like I am schooled, and I did the work to understand what I'm talking about. I'm not just saying it because it feels good. I'm saying it because I did the work to understand it. Just like right now, I can't tell you what makes Madonna special, but rest assured, once I get off of this live, I'll start to take that journey to figure it out. Shout out to Byron Israel Smith. Drake is hip hop evolves. No, hip hop evolves into more culture. It doesn't evolve into mainstream. That's like saying Mexican food evolved into Taco Bell. No, it didn't. That's like saying soul food evolved into Kentucky Fried Chicken. No, it didn't. No, it didn't. Hip hop evolves into more culture. The lingo changes, the fashion changes based off of what's affordable at that time and how people make it work as far as fashion and style, lingo, places where we hang. But it doesn't evolve into some suburban lifestyle. It becomes mainstream. That's not an evolution. That's the end of culture. So no, it doesn't evolve. And you don't have to have that person in hip hop for hip hop to be fine. And it doesn't justify you being in hip hop. You don't need everybody to be in hip hop. You don't have to do it. That's just a fact, Byron. There's not much to disagree with, bro. It's just really what it is. Culture is very much what it is. It's just what it is. Taco Bell is not Mexican food. I'm not saying they don't have some good items on the menu, and bean and cheese burrito is great, but it is not Mexican food. They have
I'll say they don't have any good items on the menu.
Well, I like the bean and cheese burrito, but they have definitely gentrified the seasoning of authentic Mexican food for people to enjoy it. So that's what Drake does with culture. He pasteurizes it just enough so it's digestible for a mainstream audience. And there's nothing wrong with that. You don't need everybody in hip hop. You don't need that.
See, what people tend to not realize is this though, right? And first I'm gonna say is this though. I love the fact that that people wear hip hop as such a badge. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially like it hurts so bad for us to say that Drake is not hip hop. He's a great rapper. Yeah, it doesn't make him hip hop though, bro. Yeah. He could rap his ass off.
Post
and that's
Malone.
The reason why when you look at the genre, you look at when they mention hip hop, they say rap / hip hop. Know what I'm saying? Yep. That's because everybody's not hip hop. Everything doesn't represent hip hop. The reason why we sat there, we cheered on Killer Mike for winning the Grammy last year was because hip hop finally won one. You know what I'm saying?
The culture.
It would have been Travis Scott winning that shit. We'd have been like, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? That's really not hip hop. It's like some alternative mashed up shit like that. But hip hop won it though. We gotta start learning how to separate what's rap and what's hip hop. You know what I'm saying? What carries culture and what is just like resembling the culture by rapping. You know what I'm saying? Shit like that. but it's not like that's all it is though, B.
I mean,
And
rap
people
is gonna take a lot of that over. I mean, Post Malone is a rapper.
Yeah, exactly.
This is the classic universal misunderstanding between the medium and the content. Hip hop is the phone, the telephone cable, or rap. I'm sorry, is the telephone cable. Hip hop is what's being said on the call. That's what this is.
That's
I like that. I like that. I like that right there, young man.
sure.
I like that. I might have to take that one right there. I'll make sure I coin you on it though.
I like that. I like that.
I really like that right there.
No,
But,
I get it, man. Again, it's just easier for the human mind to just be like Taco Bell's Mexican food.
There you go.
It's just easier. Like it's
KFC is soul food.
Yeah, it's like, it's people that go to soul food Sundays. There are white families who go to KFC on Sunday and be like, we're having soul food tonight. And I get it why you want a piece of it, but again, it's like, it is what it is. I can't argue that. Hip hop specifically is the culture, the things you rap about, how you speak, how you look. It's a lifestyle,
everything.
It's a way you live, rooted in community, right? In a level of struggle, that kind of creates that culture. Rap is a way you express said culture. Rap is how you express said culture. It's simple. It's not really that deep. But again, I'm not mad if nobody get it. So I'm not tripping. You know what I mean? Like,
in the words of my brother Twan Mack,
man, rest in peace.
They tried to get the culture to Canada, B.
They did.
They tried to get the culture to Canada, B. Yo, Twan Mack used to be ADHD screaming that shit at people, B. Y'all try to give the shit that I ran from, but they try to give it to Canada. We not gonna happen. Not on my watch. Not on my watch.
I would love to see Canadian culture come to life, like from that urban street area, because they got some ghettos and they talk a certain way. I would love to see it. It's just I'm not gonna see it in that guy. That's all.
Not in him.
Nothing wrong with that.
We've seen it. We've seen it though. We've seen it.
Yeah,
we've seen it with Cardinal Official.
Yeah, Cardi was dope. Yeah, Cardi was fire.
He was hip hop.
He was hip, and nobody never questioned it. Nobody never said anything outside of that. So again, we know the difference.
Probably even to a degree, I would say maybe something like a Sean Paul. You know what I mean?
Sean Paul from Canada?
Isn't he? Yeah, he's Jamaican from Canada. Circa that whole situation. I thought he was Jamaican from, but he was.
I don't know. I never.
He was a Canadian,
you just got
Jamaican
me that
export.
The boy we just mentioned before, Tory Lanez is hip hop.
Well, he moved to Atlanta when he was a kid too.
Oh, Tory?
Yeah, he moved to Atlanta.
He's like the reverse.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. But shout out to Fats. Mercules is more culture and hip hop than Drake from Canada. I agree. Merc is some shit. Shout out to my boy Merc. Merc is cold.
We need some sorries in the chat for my man Glasses, though, y'all. We need some sorries in the chat. If you really thought that what he was saying, when he was saying what he was saying,
they aren't in this room.
We need some sorries in the chat, man. For real.
Sorry, Glasses.
Sorry, Glasses.
Just every time you see me, I'm sorry, Glasses.
Sorry, Glasses.
Sorry, Glasses. I was on Community and they was doing it. They was like, sorry, Glasses. Sorry, Glasses.
Sorry. I didn't mean it.
My bad.
I didn't mean it.
I don't know what I was thinking about, G.
Word.
I'm sorry, G. So again, No Ceilings Live, the lunch hour, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at noon Pacific Standard Time. Click the thumbs up button. Let everybody know you here. Go over there to No Ceilings Live, the lunch hour. Excuse me, No Ceilings, the podcast. Click the link below. Apple Podcasts or anywhere you get your podcast, especially iHeart Podcast. No Ceilings Podcast, executive produced by Charlemagne the God, Black Effect, and the iHeart conglomerate that Drake is currently suing right now. Drake is suing.
iHeart's part of that?
Yes.
UMG too?
Yes. And Spotify.
Wow.
And Spotify.
We got some corporate giants right now.
We're gonna have to tighten our belts and prepare in preparation for some lost funds. Everyone's taking a pay cut.
You know what? I'm gonna entertain this one last thing in the chat before we get up out of here. Shout out to Earns 8327. Earns, what's happening? Y'all forgetting Drake has a Black American background.
Oh, why y'all keep bringing this shit the fuck up for?
I have a question.
Like, what the fuck they got to do with him not being hip hop, B? Like, what's up with y'all, B?
How hip hop is the television character Carlton Banks?
Who?
Carlton Banks.
Who is Carlton Banks?
From Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Who is Carlton Banks?
From the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Who is Carlton Banks?
Alfonso.
I'm not saying the guy. I'm saying the character in the show.
Saying, who are you referencing that is him?
He's saying how hip hop
in general speak. How hip hop is he in general speak?
Carlton Banks is actually really hip. What's Carlton Banks? Oh, the character.
The character, not the actor.
Well, his dad. So his dad is street.
His dad his dad gets down.
Well, remember, the streets can leak in your house. The streets can get to you in multiple ways. The streets can be in your house with your parents. You could be in the suburbs and your dad is just a nigga.
That house was too big. It leaked down the hall.
Pops, Uncle Phil used to be tripping. Uncle Phil, you could tell Uncle Phil was from the corner.
I know that. And you could tell Carlton,
because that's why Carlton, as soon as he went to the hood, he took over. Like, everybody liked him, and he picked up the culture instantly. It's the episode of the Fresh Prince where Carlton go to the hood, he hanging with the gangsters.
Yeah, the locs on and all.
The locs on, the frames and all that. He just doing his thing. Like, you feel me? He just you could.
He was less hip hop than Jeffrey.
Nah, Jeffrey got hip hop for a minute though. Too.
Jeffrey probably hip hop too.
Oh no,
yeah, Jeffrey got hip hop.
Jeffrey was.
Carlton is not. I wouldn't rule Carlton completely out of hip hop. I would honestly. I think Uncle Phil, his dad and his mom was street, and that's hard because that's why every time Carlton had a problem, he was never like a punk. Like Carlton for sure would have squabbled somebody at Bel-Air High. What's the name of the high school?
Bel-Air.
We're at a prep school.
Yeah, it was
something prep. And shit.
Yeah, I remember the jersey, but Carlton would have squabbled somebody, bro. You know what I'm saying? Carlton wasn't like, I wouldn't be careful to call that character. I would like, it's not about, you could be in the suburbs and be hip. Obviously, it's different people that came from some level of middle class America that's hip hop. The culture still bleeds over. So it's not just about that, right? I'm just saying it would be hard to start the culture there. But Carlton, I'm be careful. I'm not gonna play with Carlton's. It might be some hip hop in there because
one episode out of 120.
Phil and Vivian. So again, it's more doors into this thing than one door, but it still is what it is. It's a door. And no, we're not forgetting about Drake has a Black American background from his dad. He doesn't have a Black American background. That's not how backgrounds work. You have to have the experience to have the background. You can't.
Uncle Phil was in the vicinity.
Well, yeah, he lived there.
Well, yeah.
And he still grew up like a brother. Carlton grew up like a brother in Beverly Hills. So, I mean, there's a lot of people that I think that are, damn, nobody bought us no food today. That's fucked up. Y'all ain't shit. Let me think.
I gotta stop showing up with these Martinez's. They think I'm living the high life.
Yeah, you got that good life. Yes. I mean, look, hip hop very much is the culture of poor people that grew up in the streets. Very much. Right? We all agree. We know that, right? Because don't know suburban areas start slang. They just don't. And it wouldn't be cool if they did. But that slang can actually season people that's not that far. You know what I mean? That would not, yeah.
We got lunch.
Yeah. Oh, shout out to damn Sherry. Thank you, Sherry.
We got lunch
from my motherfucker. This is why I let Sherry cuss me out. This is my partner.
Yeah.
Sherry, thank you for that $5, Sherry. Superstar.
We got lunch.
Shout out to Precise, Totally Tubular, and Suburban Slang.
Who the fuck says that? Precise.
Precise.
Get your ass out of here, Precise.
No, but he right. People do really talk like that.
I was gonna say
Terminally
like
true.
I don't like that, but like there's, and that's kind of I think a little wrinkle there. Like
Terminally
surfers and skaters in the suburbs are kind of like,
Yeah, but see, they be culture because they still be street.
yeah,
Shout out to Crazy Bronx Bomber. He's more Jewish than Peter Rosenberg.
They
Yeah,
both.
Pete probably
they
more
both
hip hop than
brother.
him. Yeah, Pete probably more
Yeah.
hip hop than him.
Pete's hip hop.
Shout out to Sherry Ghetto, always asking for food. That's true. Ain't got no food.
Gotta eat. Gotta eat.
Shout out to Fats for that dollar. Fats, that dollar still
Got
gonna
it.
get some something.
Dollar pizzas.
Thank you, my
Dollar
boy.
here we
pizzas.
are.
Feel me? That's working.
Let's go.
Shout out to my OG Daryl Pierce. Daryl Pierce is one of the people out of the production team that produced Bigger and Deafer for Queens. Trap.
Oh, Daryl.
Yeah.
Daryl.
You know that
Queens,
team.
let's
You know
ask
that
us.
team. Yeah.
Queens won this thing. You
Yeah,
heard?
you feel me?
Let's get it.
Traps from Queens, DP.
Thank you,
Daryl.
Daryl. Thank you,
So
Daryl.
he owes you he owes you an apology. I mean, he owes you a thank you for putting on. Shout out to L Dialogue, my boy. What's happening? Mop Whack TV. I hear that. I think after Drake started canceling those shows in Memphis after he got the key to the city, yeah, it was tricky. But a lot of his kin folks was in the 201 though. He's definitely related to people from Memphis. But it's a lot of slavers who have family that's on the plantation.
201, the nine. Isn't Memphis the 901? How many?
Yeah,
How many?
91.
Is 201 also down there?
The 201.
201
probably
is
typo.
New Jersey.
Shout out to
201
David
is New
Jones.
There's
Jersey.
David Jones. I always forget David Jones'
man.
name. I always try to ask
laugh
about
at
him.
Daryl. Y'all feeding the people. Y'all got to feed the people. Thank y'all
Feed
so
the
much. For that.
people.
Is
Shout out to
David
Rob. Rob,
Jones-
thank you for moderating the chat. L said 201 is the prison in Memphis. 201 is the jail
okay.
in Memphis.
Got you.
That
Drake
definitely
very
is
much-
definitely Jersey.
Drake's family is from Memphis. That's fantastic. But
Sure.
again, it's not about that. I don't want to get into that dumb
Is
conversation.
I forgot what I was gonna say. Well, that sucks. Not for the audience, but for me.
Why?
Because I forgot what I was gonna say. They don't care. It only makes me look like an idiot.
People are a little bit more forgiving than you give them credit for. But no, I will continue to gatekeep this thing we call hip hop. Shout out to them BX legends that empower me. Shout out to them Staten Island legends that empower me. I told you, don't nobody squabble nothing down for the movement like the West do. So I'm going to defend this thing called hip hop till I can't no more because it changed my life and I owe it that. I'm going to gatekeep it. Yes, I know sometimes your favorite artist may be on the outside. Yes, I know some albums you like. I'll be honest about them. But if you're not going to keep the gate, I will do it for you. And when they try to fool you with the marketing, I'm going to keep the gate for you. That's my job. Trap, we have to take this serious because if we don't, it'll be rock and roll. It won't be a face that comes from the ghetto there. You'll look up one day, you will never realize nothing from the ghetto was ever there. Like rock and roll. People do not even remember rock and roll when people from the ghetto was there.
How long was that time frame?
What time frame?
When black people was in hip hop.
The frame between where there was like a singular a singularly black rock and roll movement, like clearly like separated from the blues, but prior to say Elvis, like how long, like where it was actually like traction and the foothold in a thing, like how long, how broad was that frame of time?
About 20 years.
Yeah.
About 20.
Chuck Berry, Little Richard.
Yeah.
Shit like that.
But I was like still the 50s.
I mean, it was around then. And then when Elvis came around like that, then
I was
you
like 59.
The Beatles coming around and stuff like that, and like took it off from there and made it changed the color.
And you can't get mad at white folks for realizing there's way more money for financing white people doing something than black people. It's just easier to sell. That's why I'm not upset that when they do the Jack Harlows and stuff. I'm not mad at it. I get the business, but it's also my position to stand up for people that come from where I come from that look like me. It makes sense.
But see, I also feel as if like that's why when the person said before about his father being black, it's not a race thing why we saying that he not hip hop. He just don't wear his he don't
Well,
wake up and
he grew up a Jewish guy.
yeah, that's all it
He's
is.
a brother. Like this weird. I don't know why I have to keep saying
I hate when they do that. I hate when
Drake
they do that.
is a brother, man. Even if he didn't know he was a brother, he's a brother. And he's a brother.
And if
no
he
question about it.
Like Memphis, we wouldn't probably be having this conversation.
This wouldn't even be a thought.
That's the
It wouldn't even be a thought. Drake is a brother. Y'all got to stop saying that. It ain't.
Yeah.
If you mix, you a brother. You a brother. Even if he don't know he a brother, he a brother. But hip hop ain't about being a brother. And that's the tricky part. It sounds crazy, but y'all got to realize every brother does not come from the struggle. They do not come from the community. That ain't every brother. We always say this when it's convenient, but we are not a monolith, period.
Yeah. And think about this. If I hopped out here and said all black people are from the ghetto, I wouldn't be out here very long. But that's sort of the way that commentary of this conversation it points.
Sure. So no, we're not. Drake is a brother, no questions. Even though he grew up Jewish his whole life in Canada, he's still a brother.
Mm-hmm.
But again, shout out to Tony Lee, who makes a great point. M is not a brother, but he's so much culture.
Exactly.
Same for the Beastie Boys. Again, man, this is why you see these brothers from these communities and cultures naming themselves after Al Capone. Noriega is named after a man from another country. His name is Noriega. You hear people naming themselves Capone. You hear people naming themselves after all kind of other street lore legends because this is about street culture.
And the real Noriega owes, from what I understand, a lot of the favors to Rick Ross. Not the real Rick Ross, but the other. It's very convoluted.
Oh,
nice.
See what you did.
Shout out to Squishy Crutchfield. Sherry ain't gonna let y'all starve. Nah, my child partner ain't gonna never let us starve. She ain't
Sherry.
But
Sherry's
that's
in Miami now, right?
Mop Whack TV, brother and culture are not synonymous, and that's the point. That's the point. Brother and culture are not synonymous. And y'all got to understand this. I get it. We lazily label a lot of stuff black culture. Lazily. Because we don't want to go into the nuances of what we're talking about. We would have to realize soul food is not black culture. It's American slave culture. Yeah. It just happened to be 99.9% of them are black. But every black person in America wasn't no damn slave. I don't want to get into these nuances and all this shit, but I'm just saying a lot of stuff we lazily refer to as black culture is way more nuanced than that. Way more nuanced. It's why people don't understand the relationship with Mexicans and blacks in LA because there's a street urban culture connection. That's why it don't make sense sometimes. You be like, what's going on? Why they? Because this is how we grow up. This is how the soil raises us. I've been eating octopus ceviche since I was 7 or 8 years old. That's a high level Mexican dish. That ain't like a taco or a burrito. That's like octopus ceviche, 8. So again, street urban culture is different than just black culture. There are black people that do not come from the streets. Fucking racist assholes.
They're racist.
We out of here, man. No Sitters Live Lunch Hour. Thank y'all for stopping by, polying with us Wednesday, noon Pacific Standard Time. Before you jet out, click that thumbs up button one time on YouTube. Right there. Tell a friend or tell a friend or tell a friend. We back here Wednesday at noon. No Ceilings, the podcast description below. Subscribe to that right now on Apple Podcasts, iHeart Podcasts, or anywhere you get your podcasts. No Ceilings Podcast, executive produced by Charlemagne the God, Black Effect Network, and iHeart. And we back here on Wednesday. Much love, y'all.
Yeah.